What's happening? Today I was listening to a speech from 1964 from Malcolm X called The Battle of the Bullet. And what I found very interesting was that that speech seemed to resonate more today in 2015 than it did in 1963. 50 years, it would seem, has went by, and yet we're still fighting the same causes and issues that Malcolm and Dr. King and many others that contributed but do not have the exposure that those two have at that level died for. People like Matt Gavers and countless others who died in the struggle, and yet we still having that struggle. Why should we continue to have a struggle for civil rights when we were born here? Our children were born here. We were raised here. We pay taxes. But yet and still, it seems like every year there's some sort of legislation that we got to have or some vote that we have to have. And in 2015, we are still fighting for voting rights. Why in the world should an American citizen have to fight for a Voting Rights Act? Why should I have to go through all the unnecessary mess at the ballot box to cast my vote? Why should anyone have to do that? When we were born here, we pay our taxes here. Nobody asks for my ID when I have to pay my taxes. Nobody asks for my ID when I have to do when I go to give them money. When I have to do what I, as a so-called American citizen, has to do. Nobody asks for my ID. But when I have to go to the ballot box, I have to supply all these different IDs. No, I'm a registered voter, and my voice should be heard. And another thing that I have a problem with, why is it that we are still having our children shot down in the street? In 1954, Elijah Muhammad had a debate with the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. And in that debate, the Grand Wizard said that there's going to come a time in this country where we're not going to need these sheets. We'll be in your police departments. We'll be your judges. We'll be your prosecuting attorneys. Well, it seems like that has already happened. And the excuse is always, well, I feared for my life. I just watched the other day a couple of kids a couple of teenagers at a pool party. An officer draw his gun. It had not been for other officers who was there who were able to tell him to chill out, he may have shot one of those children. Since when did a bunch of teenagers in bikinis and Speedos become a threat to an armed officer with mace, billy club, and a pistol? And from what I heard lately on the news is that he's resigned. Well, bravo, and I think that's good, because who else is going to police the police department but themselves? We have to start holding those accountable. We are, with our collective economic power and our collective voting power, we have enough to choose and direct our own future in this country if we learn to think collectively. That's not to say that we have to think monolithically, because we don't all believe the same, we don't all have the same political understanding, we don't all have the same level of education. But one thing we all have is the common experience of being black in America. And maybe those who are older had a more significant experiences, but it doesn't denigrate or take away from the experiences that I've had as a black male in this country. And that's not to say that all people that are not black are evil or are wrong. But the problem is there are too many that are in power and too many people with influence and the means of changing the way that we are governed that are racist and evil and greedy. And we may not be able to get who we want in, but if we exercise our political power, we can definitely keep who we don't want out. If we collectively exercise our economic power, we don't have to worry about welfare. We don't have to worry about not having jobs for our brothers and sisters that can't get jobs. We'll be able to make jobs and be able to employ them ourselves. You know, we will spend $200 on a pair of shoes, but we won't contribute $200 in a common cause to build a factory, to buy a car dealership, to invest in the technology field, to invest in education for our own, to get the education to work in these high technological fields, such as engineering. And once we get there, we don't have to worry about anybody hiring us. We can hire our own. We have more collective economic power than most developed nations in this world. Just as 40 million black people in this country. But we buy frivolous things like $200 tennis shoes, gold ropes, gold chains, things that depreciate once you get them. What we really need to invest in is real estate, land. When people from other countries that are coming over, especially in the city of Detroit, they're not buying tennis shoes, they're not buying casinos, they are buying up all those abandoned buildings and abandoned lots because they know the value of owning land. And if you don't own a piece of land in this world, you really don't have nothing to stand on. You can quote all the rights you want, but when the Europeans left from Europe, they wasn't coming to the United States to work for a few years or work for everybody and that with nothing. They came to get a piece of this rock, and that's something that we need to concentrate on. And I just said my bicentennial moment. This is Brian. Peace out.